In this video, I'll show you step by step how I built this Chrome extension in less than 2 hours using just AI and an application called Cursor, all without writing a single line of code. I'll walk you through all of the prompts that I used and how I used the AI chat in Cursor to write the code for me to then get this working, fully functional Chrome extension. So if you've ever thought, I've had an idea for a Chrome extension for a while, but I don't know how to build it, and I don't want to hire a developer to build it, this video is for you because now you can just use AI and build it yourself. Enjoy. This is a quick tutorial on how I created this Chrome extension app this morning on Cursor. It's a tutorial for beginners. So I'm a beginner. I literally downloaded Cursor this morning and I just started playing with it. And the last time I wrote code was 10 years ago, so I forgot everything. I don't have a lot of knowledge about programming, and I actually didn't write a single line of code in this application. So I'll walk you through my steps and hopefully you can learn something from it. All right, so after I downloaded Cursor, basically I created a new folder here on my Mac called Project, and then another folder which is the name of the application. It's called the template creator. And then, so that was empty. And then I just went into Cursor and said open folder and basically opened that empty folder. And then there was nothing inside. So it was just like these files were not there. Here on the left side, you kind of see your files. Then this is where the actual code is happening. And then here on the left, you can actually toggle this open. This is your AI pane. So this is where you actually chat. So this is basically your chat with, in this case, Claude Sonnet. So the first prompt I wrote to Claude Sonnet was, I want to create a Chrome extension that, 1, I click a button, 2, reads the tweet on the page, when I have a tweet post open on Twitter, runs the content of that tweet through my custom prompt using Anthropic Claude, which creates a content template, stores the content template. So quite simple. And it went right ahead in saying, yeah, great idea. And then it started saying which files I need and started writing the code for the files. So it wrote one for manifest.json. And this was actually me being a noob. When I saw this, I didn't really know what to do. So I had to ask, because the first thing I tried was I just clicked here on apply. And then it actually said something like, you can't see it now, but it said this file doesn't exist or something like that. So then I wrote create the manifest file for me, but it didn't actually create it over here. It just gave me the code again. I just wrote, it says no file to apply to. I guess I have to create it myself. Can you tell me how? So I'm so beginner that I didn't even know how to create the files here. So it told me I just need to go in here and then I can just create a new file. And then I can basically type in manifest.json. So that's what I did. And I then asked all the files that I need to create, just give them to me so that I can create them now manually. So it gave me all of these and then I just created them. Okay, and then I went back over there where it actually gave me the code. And I just clicked apply, and then it basically puts that code into the file. And when I did that for all of the files that it suggested, I said, okay, I added all the code. Now, how do I test this? And it just gave me instructions how I can test this. So basically, I had to, and this is specific for if you're building Chrome extensions. If you're building a web app, this is probably different. But since this was a Chrome extension, what I had to do is I had to go here, open chrome.extensions on my browser here, and then toggle this developer mode and then click load unpacked. And then I was able to kind of load in the files that I had just created. And once that was in, I could just, it was basically there. It was in my browser. And then I went on Twitter and did my first test. And of course, so I just picked some tweet of mine and I did a first test. And of course, it didn't work. So I pressed it and then it was just like a tiny white square. So nothing really happened, just like a tiny white square appeared. So there was some error before and I pasted that in and it helped me fix it. There was something in there. I don't even know what it was. I just clicked apply, it fixed it. And then, when I click on the Chrome extension, the pop-up was just a tiny white square that does nothing. Okay, so it helped me fix that. Then the next issue is, I was just wondering about, does it always save these files automatically? So I asked. Okay, then I continued testing, and what then actually happened was this kind of worked. There was like only a part which said generate template. So there was only a button here, and when I clicked, nothing happened. So I told it that, then it fixed that. So it's like a bit of a back and forth. It seems to not get everything right immediately. So this will probably happen in the future, but right now you still need to kind of do this back and forth and put in the error codes and kind of tell it what's happening, and then it'll help you slowly fix it. And one of the problems that can happen sometimes, that happened to me a little bit, was that it keeps on going into errors and it like changes its code and it kind of gets mixed up itself. So I eventually managed to get out of it. I was getting a few errors and it was telling me we need to add logging and then we need to check like what's actually the problem. And at some point, I don't remember where, I need to check again. Yeah, I was like getting a bit angry. I was like, no more, like enough of the logging. Just think about what the issue is and fix it. And then, and that actually helped. So it did fix something. Yeah, and then there was a problem with basically the part where it was reading out the tweet and it was talking about like, it needs to inject some content script into the website or something like that. And in my mind, I was just like, why do you need to do it like that? Can't you just read the tweet from the HTML that you're seeing like on the browser? And I basically wrote that and I said, oh yeah, you're right. I can just do it this way. And it did that, then it worked. A couple of other things then didn't work. Yeah, it was kind of getting information from the page, but it was getting it from the wrong place. So what I then did was I said, okay, how about I go onto the Twitter page and I basically give you the HTML code and tell you like which part of the text I want. And then it told me how to get that HTML code. Basically right click and then inspect and go in over here and copy over the part that has the text inside. So this all looks it looks a bit scary if you don't code, but the chat actually does a really good job of walking you through it. So yeah, then I pasted that in. Yeah, and then at some point, all of the bits that I wanted worked. I had to enter the Anthropic API key. So I had to go get my API key entered so that I can put in the prompt there. And then it was doing something wrong with how it communicates with the Anthropic API. So I just suggested like, how about because I was suspecting that it probably doesn't have the knowledge of how exactly to communicate with the API in the right way. And so I suggested, why don't I just go onto the website of the Anthropic of the docs and basically copy that in for you. And then it said, yeah, that's a good idea. And I did that and then it eventually worked and got everything right. Yeah, finally, when all of that worked, it was basically this functionality that I have here now. So all of that worked. I also added in this copy to clipboard button later on in the end. And it looked really ugly. And so what I did then, I went on to V0. I also just heard about this, or I heard about it before, but I never really actually used it. And so this thing is really good at generating UI. So I basically typed in pretty much the same initial prompt, like I want a Chrome extension that does this and this, and that generated me the UI. And then you can also get the code for that UI. And I pasted that code back into here and basically took that code and transformed it a bit and just applied that stuff onto my Chrome extension. Yeah, and that was pretty much the last step then, and then it all worked. So all in all, I'm not sure how long it exactly took me because I was started in the morning and then I brought my kid to kindergarten and then had a bit of pause and I resumed. But all in all, probably less than 2 hours. Yeah, but it was really fun. It was so cool to see it working in the end. At some point, I did think like maybe it is not going to work, where it just kept giving me errors and the errors just didn't go away. But then somehow it worked. I think one of the mistakes that I was making at some point was it's like always suggesting me this code for the files, and then often I was just like really quickly clicking apply, and sometimes for some reason I haven't figured out yet, it's like not automatically applying it to the file that it's supposed to be applying to, but it's actually applying it to the file that you have here selected. And I probably made that mistake a few times and then I messed up my code because of that. So I also saw in some videos that people have this button here that it just says apply to all. So then you don't have to click apply for each and every one of these. I still need to figure out how to get that. But yeah, I'm still learning and just wanted to share what I've learned so far. All right, hope that helps.